A Chinese warship suddenly appears 50 miles off the coast of Manila, its radar systems scanning Filipino territorial waters while fishing boats scatter in panic. But instead of diplomatic protests or heated phone calls, something unprecedented happens. The Philippines issues a calm, almost dismissive statement, then quietly continues work on what intelligence sources are calling the most strategically important military project in Southeast Asia. What they're building in Subic Bay will fundamentally alter the balance of power in the South China Sea, and Beijing is absolutely terrified. If you're ready to uncover the military secrets that are reshaping global politics, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because what you're about to learn will change how you see international power struggles. The construction began at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday in March 2024, under cover of darkness that satellite imagery later revealed as carefully orchestrated deception. Massive concrete trucks rolled through Subic Bay while the world slept, but this wasn't ordinary infrastructure development. The concrete being poured was military-grade, designed to withstand direct missile strikes. The foundations being laid could support structures weighing thousands of tons. Most tellingly, the entire construction zone was immediately classified under the Philippines' most restrictive military secrecy laws. What makes this project so significant isn't just its scale, it's its timing. For years, China has systematically intimidated Filipino fishermen, built artificial military islands in disputed waters, and treated the South China Sea as its private lake. But while Beijing was busy flexing its military muscles and issuing threats, Manila was quietly preparing the most sophisticated response in modern naval history. The Subic Bay project represents something China never anticipated, a small nation refusing to be bullied and instead building the infrastructure to fight back. The statistics alone tell a remarkable story. This facility will house the largest naval maintenance complex between Japan and Australia, capable of servicing not just Filipino vessels but allied warships from across the Pacific. The dry docks being constructed can accommodate aircraft carriers, nuclear submarines, and the next generation of stealth destroyers that China considers its greatest maritime threat. But the real genius lies in the facility's dual-purpose design: civilian shipping during peacetime, military fortress during conflict. Intelligence analysts who spoke on condition of anonymity described the project as revolutionary in its approach to asymmetric naval warfare. Traditional military thinking assumes that smaller nations must either align with major powers or accept subordination. The Philippines has chosen a third option, building the infrastructure necessary to make any attack on Filipino territory prohibitively expensive for even a superpower. The message to China is unmistakable: try to intimidate us now and face consequences you never imagined. The engineering challenges alone would have been impossible just a decade ago. The Philippines has quietly assembled an international team of military architects, underwater construction specialists, and naval engineers whose combined expertise rivals anything available to the Pentagon. Dutch companies provided the water management systems, Israeli firms contributed the electronic warfare capabilities, and Japanese contractors delivered the precision manufacturing technology. Notably absent from this list are any Chinese companies, marking a complete reversal from the infrastructure projects of the previous decade. But the true brilliance of the Subic strategy becomes apparent when you examine its geographic advantages. The base sits at the entrance to Manila Bay, controlling access to the Philippines' economic heart while maintaining direct sight lines to the contested Scarborough Shoal. Any Chinese vessel attempting to access Filipino territorial waters must now operate under the watchful eyes of some of the most advanced surveillance systems in the Pacific. The psychological impact cannot be overstated. China's naval commanders must now factor Filipino capabilities into every operational decision. The timing of construction phases reveals sophisticated strategic planning that suggests years of preparation. Phase 1 focused on underwater infrastructure, including submarine pens that satellite imagery cannot penetrate. Phase 2 emphasized air defense systems capable of creating a protective umbrella over much of northern Luzon. Phase 3, currently underway, involves the integration of allied naval systems that will make Subic Bay interoperable with American, Australian, and Japanese naval forces without requiring permanent foreign military presence. Before we reveal the most shocking aspect of this story, Don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our deep dives into the military strategies that are reshaping our world. The financial engineering behind this project proves even more impressive than its military specifications. Rather than relying on foreign loans that could create dependency relationships, the Philippines structured the funding through a combination of defense bonds, infrastructure partnerships, and what economists call sovereignty insurance arrangements with multiple allied nations. Each contributing country gains access to specific facility capabilities without exercising control over Filipino decision-making. It's a masterclass in maintaining strategic autonomy while building collective security. The human element of this story reveals the depth of Filipino determination to resist Chinese intimidation. Construction crews work in shifts around the clock, many of them veterans of the Filipino Navy who understand exactly what they're building and why it matters. Interviews with workers reveal a palpable sense of national pride mixed with quiet resolve. These aren't just jobs, they're contributions to a project that will protect Filipino sovereignty for generations. The contrast with Chinese infrastructure projects, which typically import foreign workers and provide limited local benefits, could not be more stark. Chinese intelligence agencies have attempted everything from cyber attacks on construction management systems to human intelligence operations targeting key personnel. Each attempt has been quietly thwarted by Filipino counterintelligence working in coordination with allied agencies. The failure of these operations has reportedly caused significant embarrassment within Chinese military circles, where the Philippines was previously dismissed as incapable of sophisticated defense planning. The reality check has been swift and humbling. The diplomatic implications extend far beyond bilateral relations between Manila and Beijing. Traditional American allies across the Pacific are watching with intense interest as the Philippines demonstrates that middle powers can build meaningful deterrent capabilities without sacrificing sovereignty to great power patrons. South Korea, Taiwan, Vietnam, and even distant nations like Norway are studying the Filipino model for lessons applicable to their own security challenges. The precedent being set challenges fundamental assumptions about power relationships in the 21st century. The technological innovations embedded in the Subic project represent advances that military analysts compare to the revolutionary changes brought by aircraft carriers in the 1940s. The facility incorporates artificial intelligence systems that can coordinate defensive responses faster than human commanders, electromagnetic warfare capabilities that can disable attacking vessels without kinetic engagement, and modular construction designs that allow rapid reconfiguration based on threat assessments. These aren't theoretical capabilities, they're operational systems being tested in real time. The environmental considerations built into the project reveal Filipino commitment to sustainable military development. The construction methods minimize impact on coral reef systems that are crucial to local fishing communities. Solar and wind power systems will eventually make the facility energy independent. Waste management systems exceed civilian environmental standards. The message is clear: defending national sovereignty doesn't require environmental destruction. It's another subtle rebuke to Chinese practices that have caused massive ecological damage throughout the South China Sea. The regional security implications become more apparent when examined through the lens of alliance structures that have evolved since the project began. While the Philippines has avoided formal military alliances that might compromise its strategic autonomy, it has developed informal coordination mechanisms with multiple Pacific nations that create overlapping security relationships. An attack on Filipino facilities would now trigger responses from partners who have their own investments to protect. China faces the nightmare scenario of potential multi-front conflicts arising from aggression against a single target. The economic multiplier effects of the Subic project have already begun transforming the surrounding region. High-skilled defense industry jobs have attracted professionals from across Southeast Asia. Supporting industries from advanced manufacturing to cybersecurity have established regional headquarters near the facility. The port capabilities have attracted commercial shipping that reduces Filipino dependence on Chinese-controlled maritime routes. Local communities that once struggled with unemployment now face labor shortages as demand for skilled workers exceeds supply. If you've made it this far, you're clearly captivated by the strategic chess moves reshaping our world. So hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we regularly uncover geopolitical strategies that mainstream media overlooks. The intelligence sharing arrangements associated with Subic represent perhaps the most sophisticated information network in the Pacific outside of formal alliance structures. Filipino radar systems feed data to allied naval forces while receiving targeting information that enhances defensive capabilities exponentially. The result is a regional awareness picture that makes it virtually impossible for Chinese forces to achieve tactical surprise in Philippine waters. Every submarine movement, every surface vessel deployment, every aircraft sortie is tracked and analyzed in real time. The psychological warfare dimension cannot be ignored. Chinese military publications have devoted increasing attention to what they call the Philippine anomaly, the unexpected transformation of a nation they considered strategically irrelevant into a significant deterrent force. Internal Chinese military communications intercepted by Allied intelligence services reveal genuine concern about the precedent being set. If the Philippines can successfully resist Chinese pressure, what prevents other nations from following the same path? The implications for Chinese regional ambitions are profound and troubling for Beijing's leadership. The construction timeline reveals the careful coordination required for a project of this magnitude. Critical components had to be delivered and installed during narrow weather windows when monsoon conditions wouldn't interfere with precision work. Specialized equipment was transported from manufacturing facilities across 3 continents, requiring logistics coordination that rivals major military operations. The fact that these deliveries occurred without significant delays or security breaches demonstrates organizational capabilities that impressed even skeptical international observers. The training programs associated with the facility represent another dimension of Filipino strategic planning. Rather than relying entirely on foreign technical assistance, the Philippines has invested heavily in developing domestic expertise in naval systems maintenance, electronic warfare, and maritime surveillance. Technical schools near Subic Bay are producing graduates with skills that make them valuable assets to allied nations while ensuring that Filipino capabilities don't depend on foreign personnel. It's yet another aspect of strategic autonomy that distinguishes this approach from traditional dependency relationships. The legal frameworks governing the facility operations reflect careful attention to international law and sovereignty principles. The Philippines has structured access agreements with allied nations to ensure that foreign vessels can use the facilities without establishing permanent military presence or compromising Filipino control over national territory. These arrangements satisfy constitutional requirements while providing practical cooperation that enhances security for all participants. Chinese legal experts have reportedly struggled to identify violations of international law that could justify formal protests. The research and development capabilities being integrated into Subic represent long-term investments in military innovation that will pay dividends for decades. Filipino engineers are working alongside international partners to develop next-generation naval technologies specifically designed for Southeast Asian operating conditions. The intellectual property arrangements ensure that the Philippines retains rights to innovations developed at the facility while contributing to collective security research. It's a model of technological cooperation that benefits all participants while maintaining national sovereignty. The crisis management protocols established for the facility reveal the depth of planning that has gone into this project. Detailed scenarios have been developed for everything from natural disasters to military attacks, with response procedures that coordinate civilian emergency services, military units, and international partners. The Philippines has essentially created a playbook for managing any conceivable threat to the facility while minimizing risks to civilian populations. Chinese military planners studying these protocols have reportedly expressed grudging admiration for their comprehensiveness. The ultimate success of the Subic Bay project lies not just in its military capabilities, but in its demonstration that small nations can maintain sovereignty and dignity in an era of great power competition. The Philippines chose to respond to Chinese intimidation not with surrender or empty rhetoric, but with quiet competence and strategic patience. They built something that commands respect while remaining true to their values and interests. As Chinese vessels now navigate Philippine waters under the watchful eyes of one of the Pacific's most sophisticated naval facilities, the balance of power has shifted in ways that will be felt for generations. The message is clear: underestimate the Philippines at your own peril, because this small nation just proved that size doesn't determine destiny when courage meets capability.